Ian from Easy Genie, and today I'm going to be refiling some old pictures that were formerly in a manila envelope. And what I've done is I've gotten my binders, my family binders, and you can see I put a Easy Genie 6th generation chart on the front so I can track who's inside. But basically what I need to do is get all these documents and photos and other media, including a DVD, and put them in the binder. And what I want to talk about today actually is kind of the age of media and how long you can preserve it for. Because realistically on this binder, people may not really dig into this for another 20 or 30 years. And one thing I found over many years of doing genealogy is sometimes the oldest media, the paper media or the photographic media, lasts the longest. This picture, for instance, is probably close to 100 years old, maybe 90 years old. It looks like it's the 1930s or 1940s. And it will still be visible and readable as a photograph 100 years from now. It's pretty good quality paper, I can feel it. This is a document that the local city clerk gave me out in Western New York. It's a file, they printed it out. It's a death record for an ancestor. And this piece of paper, the quality's not that good, but I can reasonably expect that this, as long as I keep it in good storage condition, it might last 50 years. Interestingly, the newest media that I have here is this. This is a DVD. You can see the date on it, 2003. It says it's a paternal branch of my family. It's my Aunt Catherine. I interviewed her shortly before she passed away. At the time, I was thinking about preservation because I recorded the interview on an old 8mm analog video recorder, and I knew that the analog tape, it was already fading by that point as a format. So I thought, I'll be clever. I'll put it on a DVD, and then it can last for longer. Now, 20 years later, I've realized that DVDs are nearly useless for preserving information for the long term. There's a couple issues that are coming up. First of all, the physical media starts to degrade. There's actually a kind of an estimated lifespan for DVDs. It's not that long. It's 10 or 15 years or something like that. So the physical media starts to degrade. The other thing is you need special equipment to even read the DVD, either a DVD player or a computer with a drive in it. A lot of people increasingly don't have those anymore. We have an old DVD player, so we could still watch this, but I don't have any more working computers that can actually play a DVD, let alone transfer the data on it. And then another issue for these DVDs, I guess this is the third issue, is that it's in a format that may no longer be readable after a certain period of time. And this is really a huge problem that's plaguing a lot of genealogists who have stored their media on digital formats, and then they find 10 or 20 or 30 years later that the file can no longer be read. And this is regardless of whether you've kept it on your hard drive or you put it on physical media like this. So I worry that DVDs, practically speaking, will be very hard to read 10 years from now, 20 years from now, maybe even impossible. You'll need special equipment. It's kind of like having an old computer punch card from the 1960s or early 70s. They basically can't be read anymore unless you have equipment that's from a museum. So this is one reason why I always stress the importance of having physical media. And there's things that you need to do for the media. For instance, this picture has been annotated by somebody, which is important, but I'm going to add my own annotation with some notes later on. I've done other videos about that. The other thing is that you need a good way to store them and organize them. I mean, I've already plugged the charts that my company makes, but the other part of this is when you do put them in a binder, you're putting them in acid-free sleeves. This is an old postcard from the 1960s. This is a printout of an important photo that a relative had, so I had to make a copy of it, but I kept a copy of it. And then you can see on the back, lift up my camera there, you can also see that I annotated it as well. So there's steps that you need to do to preserve your old media, but if you have physical paper media that can be directly read or photographic media printed on good paper, this is going to last a long, long time. This digital media does not last a long, long time. Even if you have it on a cloud storage service, who knows what will happen to that cloud storage service 20 or 30 years from now. I'm not convinced that Dropbox or Ancestry will be a working entity 20 or 30 years from now. So really you have to have a hard drive of your own stuff and back it up. And then importantly, all the key records, whether it's something like this, whether it's a kind of this a printout from the local city clerk, or it's a letter like this, an original letter. You need to copy it, you need to preserve it, you need to have the right types of annotations, and you need to store it properly. And it's hard work, yes, but I do not trust Dropbox or Ancestry to take care of this really valuable stuff as well as I can do it, or my family members. And then finally, the last thing that you really need to understand about preserving your media and your genealogy and your family research is to share it far and wide. I don't know if my kids honestly are going to be that interested in the genealogy, but I'm hoping that the generation after that, as well as my cousins, and by now, like for instance, this person, Catherine Clark, she probably has, I'm going to conservatively guess, 50 living descendants right now, and they have children, and some of them are very distant. I've never even met them, but others are closer cousins. I'm going to give copies of records, if I have any records about Catherine Clark, to those cousins. And the key thing about preserving family history is it's your immediate family, but it's also your extended family. And it's really important to share that information. This is Ian from Easy Genie. If you have any thoughts about sharing or storing media, I'd like to hear what it is. I think a lot about this, and I think it's a pretty important topic. Talk to you later.